The separation of church and state is hogwash. It's a lie. I just want to get to so the separation of church and state. When Thomas Jefferson wrote that to the Danbury Baptist, whatever, in the back in the day, the church ran everything. The church ran the schools, the hospitals, the universities. The church ran the community centers, the YMCA. I mean, that wasn't back then, but you know what I mean. And so they wanted to keep the government out of the community. The government had certain roles, and that was it. And it wasn't supposed to come in and intervene with between a doctor and a patient. The churches ran the hospitals. But look what's happening today. The state runs everything, and they are purposely pagan and just like RPG culture and erasing Christianity. So that's why I'm getting pissed off about everything, about the lies. And by the way, I'm not pissed off in the sense of pissed off. I'm very happy. I got Jesus. We know he wins in the end, and everything in the Bible is just lining up. And that's why I love creation versus evolution, because it's hilarious. And that by the way, creation versus evolution is what really confirmed to me the Bible. Well, no, that was one. The other was atheists, because I went right to the atheist Bible sites and stuff and was like, wow, that's your argument. Wow. And falls apart. Anyway, so let's go to these articles. They always come across my feed of what I go look at. Oops, where am I at here? And then, and it's just like again and again and again. California City Council fines small church $300,000 for helping homeless. So the city councils, the pagans, the Democrats they know that the church, the charity is one of the strongest evangelist tools of the church and of Christianity. They know it in their hearts, and they have to stop it. They have to. For safety and security, because we don't know what you're feeding them. You know, they have to lie. They have to do this. Jesus, we got to stop Jesus, you know. They have to. They think they have free will. They don't have free will. They have to stop Christians. They have to. That's how they were programmed by the one and only. Here's another article. Pack mules take insulin to trapped Helene victims. Operation Blessing serving hundreds of hot meals. The Red Cross was started by who? Christians. Now it's taken over by, government, non-government, whatever they're called, agencies, NGOs, non-governmental, whatever. But back in the day, it was done by Christians. And then most Christian things today are failing because they're being replaced by the liberals who come in because they're so nice, and then of course they take over the board and the heck is the board called? The board, whatever, with all the people, the leaders. God, I'm getting older. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, so but it's Christians that get things done. And again, the Tom Holland on Dominion, the book I read, I keep repeating it, but it just hit me so hard when he said, historians now know that the pagan temples were not, like, Christians did not go around destroying pagan temples. The pagans just decayed on their own because of their own ruin, their own selfishness, and all the priests were like transvestites getting drunk at the bars, whereas the people were fleeing them and thriving in the Christian churches that were popping up because of charity. Because we believe in charity. It's part of our foundation of what Jesus Christ asked us to do. And so it's in our hearts. And so when we volunteer, and I've even read a book on this, and I don't know if it's Dinesh D'Souza, but someone, where Christian churches are so efficient that the money from donations to the helping is like 90%. Whereas all these other ones that are secular or governmental, the donations that go to the actual helping people is like 20 or 10%. Most of it goes to the administration, the bureaucracy, all that crap, to the government, to all the regulations. They constantly put regulation after regulation. Democrats can't help themselves. I mean, hell must be full of regulators, like just constant. I mean demonic people like that just go around regulating hell. I bet you in hell you're regulated on what you can and can't do as you suffer and torment, and you have to follow the regulations, and you probably have a lot of orientations as well in the dark pit of the abyss. So here's Glenn Beck going around to right now and finding one small truck of FEMA, and everything that person said, Glenn Beck was like, they're late, the person said, "Oh, we've got online apps for everyone to get to do things," and they go, "They don't have internet." "Oh, we have media. It's media's job to let everyone know where we are. They don't have TVs," and this is hilarious. It's just pathetic. That female, and it's like only a little truck here, and they literally walked up. Glenn Beck and Corey Mills walked up to them. If you want to watch this on Not the Bee, FEMA has a nearly $30 billion budget, and of course, they're spending gazillions on the illegal immigrants, on foreign wars. It's funny to see the Democrats too. They're how they defend it on X. It's a pretty good. There was a pretty good article on that. I just saw them all posting. Well, there's only certain that they're wormy, they're squirmy. It's pathetic. I'm just running through this because I want to go to a regular video, but I can't help myself because this is the ploy of the left, of the Democrats, of the mealy, wormy, squirmy larva of the left. They've got to stop charity, and we are conceding the culture. We're conceding separation of state and church, which is a lie. They're using the whole Christian nationalism, white supremacist, racist to try to get us to feel guilty. Stop feeling guilty. Start rebuking their sin, their patheticness, their hell-bound inevitability. Rebuke them. Make them submit to goodness, to charity, to truth. Whether they're evil or good, we have to rebuke. We have to be open and about it. Christianity is the absolute form of charity. I'm watching Rome, the series on Max. Watch it. It's brutal. There's no Christianity in it. It's pure paganism. I just watched the episode where the slavery in it was depicted well. They depicted the horrors of slavery, which was a mining operation, and it was totally fine. And the heroes went in, got what they wanted, and then left this entire horrific thing totally fine. And they show a bunch of pagan worship, and they show a culture of vengeance, which is totally fine. A culture of vengeance for them is back and forth. Vengeance is totally fine. I mean, why not? And there is no charity. If you're poor in pagan times, which is we're turning back into, you will you will be enslaved. You will be sexually exploited. You will be child trafficked. That's happening today. Every poor homeless kid is not going to get taken up by a monastery and a Catholic. The Catholics or the church started the foster homes and the adoption places and for children to help them. That was Christians. Before that, paganism, the children were on the streets and then were scooped up as slaves and child trafficked. That was it. That was the only option until Christians came along and created. My God, what's this called? Not called foster homes. It's called. What are they? See, losing my mind. I've got so many things on my mind. I have a 512K RAM type of mind, like MS-DOS type of mind. This whole Google new internet thing is just too much for me. But the foster homes and the adoption agencies and the children charity stuff, that started with Christians. So in that Rome series, man, the children, there's these children to run away, and then the mother or aunt was like, "Where are you going to go? There's nothing to you have no option. You will be in slavery, whoredom, slave whores, prostitutes, in slavery. Where are you going?" And they're like, "Exactly, no choice, no options." And I mean, okay. Ohio pastor faces charges for sheltering homeless after county shelter ran out of room. This is what's happening across America. The state is interfering in everything the church can do. The power of the church is incredible. Even at our poorest, we are so powerful. They can't stand it. They can't stand it. Muslims, Democrats, Marxists can't stand how powerful we weak little Christians and Jews are in Israel, and Christians and Catholics and Orthodox, how powerful we are in our stupid little voluntary arguing little missionary groups. We are so pathetic and weak and sinners, and yet we are such a huge threat to the dictators of the world and the Islamic terror of the world. We are such a threat because we have the truth of Jesus Christ in our hearts and on our tongues. And it's hilarious. But look at this. They got to keep doing this. And guess what? The government suing and stuff, you know what? They need money through forced taking of our money, right? Taxes, the forced taking our money is what gets them to be this powerful. The lawyers, the judges, the little mealy mouthed regulators. They got to get paid. They got to get paid to do this. Whereas we in the church, we just do it because we love it. We don't need to get paid. We want to do something for the Lord, and so don't pay taxes. What am I doing here? Oh, this is a search for all these things. Let me just go to a couple. Court rules against Arizona grandmother who was arrested for feeding homeless. So she's doing this out of the goodness of her heart, and they're going to sue her. She can't do it. She cannot do it. And they're just not letting her. Now, she's not, I don't know if she's a part of a church. I just noticed this one. It's like, I bet she is, though. But, why would she not be? I'm trying to find if she said, let me pause. I want to see if anything about her is Christian. Hold on. Okay. I think she's okay. Whatever. I think she's a secularist because even the Institute for Justice seems like a secular thing, but and then down here, the mayor says that, it only applies to public parks, right? Meaning that churches, clubs, and private properties are free to serve the homeless without a permit. Now, this is in some certain area, but public park. Why can't a church do a charity at a public park? I mean, if it's a public park, because that's evangelism for us. They don't want us to do evangelism, right? And obviously this woman is just helping people out, which is great. Let's go to Oklahoma City. New ordinance in Shawnee, Oklahoma will fine Good Samaritans for giving meals to homeless people unless they have a permit. Why do you have to have a permit to feed people? In the Democrats' mind, you got to have a permit. $250, $500 more. Free food is trash being left for people to clean. The city claimed that people handing out free food has led to trash being left for people to clean up. This is so pathetic. They're so petty. Evil is so petty. That's the worst part about evil. Just torture me brutally, behead me, throw me in the gladiator arenas. But just don't do petty on me, please. Just petty is the worst. Please don't do petty on me. U.S. Justice Department takes surprising action with church to plan to feed the hungry. So this is happening everywhere. We are conceding the culture. We are backing off. We're giving up our Christianity in the role playing culture. Right? Get along, go along. No real religion. No real. And now look at that. We can't even do charity now. So much for separation of church and state. We can't do anything. The church is being pushed out of everything we've created. We created the orphanages. There we go. That's in there. We've created the orphanages. We created the hospitals, like as the Christians. We created helping people and charities. Charity was a Christian thing that blew up and destroyed paganism, wiped it out. Not wiped it out, but it definitely established churches. And I mean, Caesar of Rome was ticked off that how successful the Christian churches were, and he made it a law that the pagans had to be charitable. But a law to be charitable is the DMV of charity. The DMV of charity, that's what we're talking about here. The government is terrible. And I'm going to go off a little bit about, the government is lying too. Like the whole FEMA, the Democrats lie about what they offer you. They lie. The whole like Obamacare and all that and unemployment is such a lie. It's such a corrupt thing. Personal experience, and I think everyone's experience except a Democrat relative I know. Anyway, the real experience here is my wife and I have had, ever since the Democrats took over and controlled things, and then when Bricks and Fauci took over, lied to Trump about millions dying, and then we did the lockdowns. But before that, my wife was a fashion director and a VP and making a ton of money, and I was happy as can be and fat cat, and I didn't need to do that much work, and I certainly wasn't doing this. I was just doing Dungeons and Dragons 5e and having a good time and messing around with Kickstarters and all that. But after the lockdowns, the company continually just got slammed and cut. And finally she got cut after 25 years of finally succeeding, getting to the pinnacle of like this VP fashion director position. Boom. So our whole world was cut up under us because of Democrats. My wife worked her butt off to get where she is. And just Bricks and Fauci come in and all the Democrats scream masks and vax and destroy our economy. And you all have your own stories as well. But I'm still happy. I'm still blessed. And then and then there was a series of, my wife struggling and getting back in on it and getting back into the fashion industry, and then it getting cut again and again, and finally she gets laid off again. And so we went out, did the unemployment, we did the Obamacare just to check them out, try them out, save a little money here and there. I mean, we're doing fine, but it's being offered. We did check it out. It was, and I finally was like, this is a lie. They got a websites for all this stuff, and the amount of stuff you go through, the little hoops and stuff and all this crap, it's just such a lie. You have to be such a Democrat, Marxist, communist to even want to spend all the hours you to do that. Also, when my wife applied for some stuff, we got exposed to criminals and fraud. That we kept getting calls and threats by criminals to my wife directly, and I thankfully walked by and overheard her freaking out on something, and she was about to give up her social security card, her passport number, all this stuff. She was even threatened that, like, the person on the other line tried to threaten that FBI agents were going to come and arrest her tomorrow because she didn't have the right information that they provided. And then thankfully I listened. And I took the phone and I took care of business. I told that person, "You're a thief. You're a goddamn thief." I told him on the phone. And this guy, Indian accent or some sort of foreign accent, was like, bring him. You're a goddamn thief. That's what you are. I told him that on the fucking phone. Sorry. That's how pissed off I got. So that happened. And then we even got like this, another thing where she had to send her passport. This is even separate. Another one. She had to send her passport to an address. I said, let me look this up in Google. It was freaking some weird alley. No government building. No, I know unemployment was one thing she was dealing with. And the other was, the Obamacare stuff. And we kept getting, it was just so corrupt and pathetic. So we ended up paying for our own stuff. She finally, not during the lockdown, she never got any unemployment money then, when she got laid off. Then in the second one, she did get some unemployment recently, but it was obviously not as much harrowing, whatever. But still, she spent, every time she got on the phone or internet, she would have to, it was like a work. She had to spend like half a day to a day, phone call, on hold, all this. It was just crazy. And I'm like, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. Let's just forget it. We'll just. But she wanted to, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out. I mean, I deserve this. We put all these taxes into it. So she wanted to get it, and she got it. So finally the unemployment worked. So I'll admit that. But we're done with that now. So she's working again, but the economy and the way things are, the fashion industry is so brutal, obliterated. But anyway, I'm happy with the Lord, and because of all this harrowing ridiculousness, I ended up doing this, and because of what I saw going on in the culture and blah blah blah, and I realized, I got to get to work and focus on something. So I started doing this in the last couple of years. So that's what I'm doing, at least for a little while. Okay, so that was it. My little rant on this. I wanted to do a game thing, not a political rant, but seeing the charity stuff come up again and again, and the FEMA thing, and what's going on with the hurricane is just ridiculous. So I had to make a video on that. All right. In the game of life, man, I'm just trying to do it over and over. Videos on. We got to be in the game of life. We got to roll holy dice.